Okay, I got some very interesting news today. So, this is not from Plarium, this is from someone who created an alt account. They're doing some A/B testing, which is basically where new accounts, like a small number of new accounts, have things that are different than what most accounts get. This was the same thing with, like, back in the day, there was A-coins in the ads, and the ad rewards were slightly different between different accounts, and that was A/B testing, right? Some new accounts get access to a brick house on like the daily login reward thing. That is also A/B testing. So there is that. Some bad news, but also some good news. I'm going to start with the bad news first, but honestly, y'all are going to want to hear all of this because it's very interesting. Once again, no guarantee that any of this will go out, but I have a hunch. I'll let you know which ones I think are probably going to happen at the end. But anyway, first up, the event crate rushes. You might have noticed that they've been getting more expensive lately. Something that Scape mentioned when he saw this sentence right here in event crate rushes for the first time, and I fully agree with him. The following rewards can only be obtained once. This implies that possibly at some point you could get certain rewards more than once, and that is what we have finally seen in this clip right here. This is not my account, this is someone else's, but they gave me a clip of this event. You can get a rank 3 Aegis, but then all of these other things you can get an infinite number of times. And that's awful. That's terrible. It's going to massively increase the number of spins it's going to take. Now, he didn't show it in the clip, but you get one free token, and each consecutive token costs $1. And you might think that's pretty cheap for a token, but given the drop rate of the Aegis, it would take you 263 tokens, including the free one, just to get the Aegis on average. That's if you didn't get unlucky. $262 for tokens and that could be the norm. It could be more than that. That's for a rank 3 epic mech, right? Imagine what they're going to charge for a rank 5 legendary. And imagine how low the drop rate's going to be. Like, we've seen lower than this. This is 0.38%. We've seen much lower than this. So if this becomes a regular thing, it's going to be nearly impossible for anyone besides whales, like absolute whales, to get access to literally anything until, the 6-7 months later when they finally decide to add it to the Gear Hub. The next thing to note is that this account, he recorded this on mobile. There are no ads here. They have gotten rid of the watching ads for blueprint rewards, which is going to significantly reduce the number of blueprints you can get if you're a mobile player. Now, those are the two negative things. There's one thing that's just kind of mildly interesting. It's not really of major consequence, and that is that the pilots don't get unlocked at 1000 XP like mine do here. They get unlocked at 12,000 XP, which is a bit later, but it's not really that bad. Like, you can see my account's already almost 17,000, so I would have had access to pilots by now anyway. It's not like I have great pilots, it's not like I've had them for very long, so it's not a big deal, but I'm betting that they're delaying when the bulk of players get access to pilots, quite possibly in preparation for the changes that they'll be making to implants. I don't know if anybody remembers that. They did mention that is something that they're going to be doing. Okay, finally, the good news. The cost of progression in the Gear Hub. As you can see right here, 24, 24, 30, 30, 36, 36. That's, obviously it takes a long time. This account that this guy had, 6, 9, 12, 18, 24, 36. Nearly half. of the stars that you would need to progress all the way to tier 9 have been removed. It goes from tier 4 to tier 9 anyway. I don't have data for tier 3 or anything, but from tier 4 to tier 9, normally it is 180. On this guy's account, it is 105. That is 75 stars removed. So much quicker progression. 6 stars is tiny. Like it would be fantastic if that went through. But again, this is not guaranteed to happen. This is A/B testing. This is something that may or may not be given to everyone at some point. But now for some of my opinions. I think in terms of... First, I'll start with the ads. The ads I don't think you really have to worry about. I think that they probably enjoy having ad integration in their game somewhere, so if they remove it from where it is, then they'll probably put it back somewhere else, quite possibly. Maybe in the, you know, purchase tab in the shops, they'll add a little thing where you can watch an ad, get like maybe 20 A coins. I'm being optimistic, obviously, but you know, even if it's credits, let's be real, credits and A coins are more useful than blueprints anyway. So I don't think there's really a whole lot of risk of that leaving permanently. I think it doesn't really make sense. I mean, pretty much every mobile game allows ad integration, and that's just, you know, because there's so many free-to-play players that are never going to spend a dime on your game. You may as well, you know, milk them for ad revenue, which, like, I've always found fair. I never mind watching an ad for free stuff, because, like, it's fair enough. So I think, personally, I believe that they will probably add it back. In terms of the event crates, now you might not care, right? You might think, ah, well, that's just for, like, you know, spenders to care about. But hold on a second. Who is to say that this won't extend to derby events where they give you a bunch of free tokens, like that crate for Mina, where they basically gave everyone a free legendary pilot? Who is to say that they won't just give you a bunch of tokens, and then if you don't get lucky, then you just get the same reward 5,000 times, right? You don't know. Who is to say that any of these events where, you know, they finally make some of these events that cost credits to spin, or they cost small amounts of A coins to spin, and normally you'd go for it, but now there's recurring rewards and it costs 3 times as much. So it does affect everyone to a degree, and honestly, I think what this says to me, is that they want to make crate rushes overall more expensive. They want it to be more so of a premium item that basically only whales get. Now, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but let's be fair, they cranked up the prices so much just in the past, like, 6 months. So am I really exaggerating? Now, obviously, this is going from, like, 160 on average to 260, right? Which is a pretty large jump. I'm not saying that they wouldn't make that jump, but I think their mind is kind of focused on making events more expensive. And I don't think, even if they decide not to run with the event the way that it is, I think eventually they will implement recurring rewards, and I think they will eventually make it just overall more expensive and more difficult to get basically anything. And now finally, for the reduced Gear Hub progression cost, I kind of have the same mentality. They might not make it this cheap. This is kind of like stupid cheap. More than like, honestly, it sounds too good to be true, so probably it won't be, right? Personally, I don't think they'll leave it this way and they'll roll it out this way for everyone. They'll probably make it more expensive, but the fact that they're testing this means that their minds are set on making it cheaper for progression, right? They want it to be cheaper. How much cheaper? Who knows, right? Maybe it's this much cheaper. Maybe it's Maybe it's a bit more expensive. I doubt they'll make it any cheaper than this. Is pretty much the best you could hope for. So in my mind, like, and this is not actually the first time I've heard of this. I've heard Scape tell me at one point that there was someone on one of his comments that was saying he had reduced, he had lower Gear Hub prices than Scape did. And he was wondering if it was a bug or if it was something else. But I would bet it's, you know, the same A/B testing. So I think it's safe to say probably at some point, maybe not anytime soon, because let's keep in mind, like, free-for-all was a thing that was only available to new accounts, and it was that way for how many months? So don't necessarily get the impression that it's going to happen soon, but there's a good chance that it will happen. Once again, obviously not necessarily exactly like we're seeing here, but there's a good chance that something will change, and I kind of want to just make sure everybody's kind of on the same page as I am, because I found this very interesting, and I know a lot of you will as well. But yeah, that is going to be it for me. Appreciate y'all. Take care.